Hey guys, Matthew here. So today I'll be bringing you a little bit of a story on an item that I created and finally finished this morning. And by finished, I mean I regaled something good, pretty much. So I'll start off with the beginning of the story. The story all starts with the essence, right? The essence of dread. This essence right here, basically, the upgraded deafening version gives you melee weapon +3 range. And that's really good this league because, Cyclone being meta, you end up with 17 weapon range foils, like this one, right? Because it's +2. And then you can Cyclone, and you can, with the Ascendancy, you become as big as your screen and all that. So it's essentially required, especially for things like the whole five-way emblem carry situation and strategy for people to make an ass load of currency. So basically, I was like, I isolated that market. I was like, this is the market I really want to be part of in like a bigger scale than all the other little markets that I tend to be part of when it comes to crafting for profit. This was a market that I wanted to be part of, not in terms of crafting for profit, but in terms of crafting for perfection, in terms of actually hitting it over and over and over again until I hit something that was, considered godly or like very, very, very good. So I started off by buying the essences and slapping them on jeweled foils. Basically, you can buy yourself a base like this, superior 30% quality jeweled foils with three white sockets for like 1.5 to 2 exalts. Depends on what time of the day and whatnot. But you can pick one of these up, and then you're gonna alt spam it, right? Or not, sorry, not alt spam. What am I saying? Essence spam it. And what you're aiming for is basically +3 range is a suffix. So to isolate that suffix, you're gonna need it to be alone with one more stat. So you want to end up with a 2 stat item. The other stat can be anything, a prefix or a suffix, and you beast split it by using Phenomenal Plagued Arachnid. When you split it, it's going to become a magic base, and you can end up with something like this, a magic jeweled foil with +3 range. This is, by the way, a bricked from other projects. So this would be, your first, starting point. Otherwise, what you could do is basically essence spam, and whenever you get like a good prefix on top of it, you could try to annul the other crappy mods and then try to split it and keep the good suffix on there. Obviously, that's always a gamble. It's all just gambles and trial and error. But at some point, you might get something good. But personally, I just started with a +3 weapon range jeweled foil on a 3 socket 30% or 3 white socket 30% quality base, and that was like my starting point. So from there on, I wanted to make like a really nice base. So I knew that was going to take a lot of imprints, right? So Chrysic Chimeral, basically the beasts, so it enables you to imprint a magic item, and then no matter what you do to it, unless you val it or like delete it, you can take it back to its initial state. So that's really prevalent right now in standard with item quantity gear, but this league it seems to be profitable even with +3 range foils, just because it's super meta, and since it's an essence thing, it's not like you can alt spam into it. Therefore, it gains a lot of value. So after basically getting this base, I imprinted it probably about 2 to 300 times, and I got very, very lucky. I ended up with this base over here, which is the merciless version. Basically, what I was doing to maximize my chance of hitting something good is I was imprinting the magic base of +3 range, then I was augmenting it for a prefix, and then I was regaling it for 50% chance of another prefix or 50% chance of a suffix. The suffix was always just bad, but an extra 50% more chance at an extra good prefix was something that I considered worth it. That being said, you have to think that when you do that, chances are you're going to hit 2 bad affixes. Therefore, you're going to make your chance of duping the item by splitting it a lot lower. So that's more just like you're going to imprint it, augment, regal. If you don't hit anything good, you're going to imprint it back. So you're essentially just throwing an exalt out of the window every single time. And that's what I was doing for, 2 to 300 exalt, probably something like that. Until I actually augmented Merciless. Which is really lucky because since I augmented it, I didn't have to regal it, therefore I didn't have to split it. Because let's say I would have augmented like T8 cold damage to attacks and then regaled Merciless. Then I have two very good stats. One's a prefix, one's a suffix. but I have this other awful stat right there that would be a prefix. And to get rid of that prefix, the only way I can do that and to make the sword back to a magic base is by splitting it. But if you do that, your chance becomes 1 in 3, right? Because you could get what you want, which would be, let's say, the Merciless and plus 2 range, but you can also get Merciless in the other crappy stat or plus 2 range in the other crappy stat. Therefore, it's a 1 in 3 to get what you really want. So luckily, I got it on the augment, which was very, very lucky anyways. But it happened. Ever since, I've been basically using these foils to like dupe them, craft them up, sell them for a little bit of profit, just to enable me to fund more crafting. So when I did show in that one video that I had made like 200x in 4 days or 3 days, uh, that wasn't just from these foils. Like I was actually crafting many different things. For the people who saw my How to Spy on the Rich videos, anybody can basically go and look at what I'm actually buying, selling, flipping um, directly on PoE.trade, and just essentially just spy on whatever the hell I'm doing. Obviously, I don't consider myself anywhere near like the top richest players or anything like that, but I've done fairly well for myself. And yeah, anyways. So, at some point, I hit this. Once I hit this, it was basically the exact same thing over again. The only thing is it became profitable to actually split them in a 1 in 3 fashion. So I would imprint, regal, split it, hope for both the Merciless and the plus 3 range. That would give me a magic base, and then the other sword I could imprint it back, therefore give me 2 Merciless jewel foils, as you can see, with a plus 3 range. Sometimes, though, obviously it would brick, like 100% brick, and give me just the physical damage, and that would be pretty much just awful, because you'd have to make it, to do anything with it, you'd have to basically regal it, and then annul the bad stat and just sell the Merciless roll rare alone, so people can multi-mod on that. But nobody really wants to do that unless you want like elemental penetration or something. So those foils are barely worth more than the base, so it's not that good. You do have the possibility of getting the plus 3 range magic, like I showed you guys over here, which sells for a little bit of profit. And then obviously you have the chance to get like these really juicy double stat ones. And every time you do that, you also have a chance, because you're regaling, to regal into something really good. So, for example, my best regals this league were this foil over here, which is a tempered T2 physical damage roll. As you can see, the fire damage and poison duration, those were just YOLO slams that I did to try to hit something like a hybrid fizz damage, or maybe like some critical strike multiplier, whatever. I just tested my luck because I knew it wasn't worth like a mirror or anything like that, just because it was tempered T2. So I just decided to YOLO it, and obviously, as you can see, it bricked pretty hard, but that's okay. So otherwise, another really nice roll that I got was Celebration on the suffix. So it was, Merciless, which is T1 plus 3 range, and then T1 attack speed. That one sold for like 60 exalts. No, 70 exalts. Yeah, that one sold for 70 exalts. And then I also regaled a hybrid physical damage roll, but it was like T5 or T6. It was only like an extra 30% or 40% on the foil. Like it barely reached something like 200 in 10, I think, fizz damage. And that one sold for like 60x, which was a scam. I could have sold it for a little bit more than that, but it's not too big of a deal. Essentially, what I'm saying is very good regals end up being way more profitable. And every time you split it and end up with something even just decent, then you can sell for a little bit of profit, which enable you to fund more tries. Because RNGs, it's a circle. It goes round and round and round. It's a wheel. It just turns, and eventually you hit it. So all this brings me down to the foil we crafted this morning. So I basically sold one of my fours like this with elemental penetration last night during a beast rota. That's just Merciless plus range with crafted mods. They sell for about 40 exalts. So I turned a decent profit from them, but it's not like insane. So I had to remake a foil basically because I sell one, and whenever I sell one, I remake one to resell one to always have the stock available for anybody who's willing to buy them. And what happened is I actually regaled into flaring. So I essentially had flaring, Merciless plus 3 range. I spent about 50 exalts divining it, And at that point, I got it to one off perfect. I had 175% physical damage with 27 minimum flat physical damage roll to 48. So it was one off perfect. Then I had hits cannot be evaded, +3 range, can have multiple crafted modifiers, and 16 attack speed, 18 quality. The weapon was 508.6 DPS. Sorry, 507.8 or zero point 0.6 DPS, something like that. Around 508 DPS. So I went to SoMade, which is a streamer, SoMad, whatever. Really good streamer, by the way. Check him out. He's awesome. He's really entertaining. And I link him the foil in a really sarcastic manner. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to rate my poking stick? And at first he doesn't look at it. He's like, I rated 10 out of 10 because you made it or whatever. Just as a troll. Then I was, oh, please, come on, look at my poking stick. So he actually looked at it and he kind of freaked out. And he was like, whoa, dude, I want a copy of that. But he was like, dude, go to QDog. QDog is instantly going to mirror that thing. It's nuts. And I was like, well, obviously it's nuts. Yes, I know that. Um, so what I did, basically, I went to QDog, and QDog was like, wait, this thing isn't perfect, man. Why don't you make it perfect? And I was like, well, I spent literally 50 exalts making it one off perfect. I don't really want to spend an extra, let's say, you know, 100 exalt or maybe even a mirror to try to make it perfect. Sorry, by the way, I had to do that trade. That was like 8 exalts profit right there. Couldn't miss out on, well, no, it was about 6 exalts profit. Couldn't miss out on that. Anyways. So QDog was like, well, I mean, no matter what you decide to do, I'm still going to mirror it. Like, the foil is insane. I want a copy of it. I'm going to mirror it. Uh, but then we started talking about maybe trying to make it perfect. And then he was like, what if I make it perfect for you? And we ended up striking a deal. So the deal was as follows. I give him the foil and a mirror so he can mirror it himself for free. Basically, I'm giving him a free copy of the foil, but he gives me a 100% guarantee to make it perfect. So perfect on all rolls, like perfect, as it is right now. As you can see, it's literally 100% perfect. Um, and he was like, yeah, you know what? I'm okay with that. We did the math, and it seemed to be actually profitable for him to actually, make it perfect and to get the free copy than to actually just copy it from me and pay me the fee, which, by the way, is 40 exalts for anybody interested. It is by about 60 DPS, the best +3 range foil in Legion right now. So definitely something to consider. Um, so if you guys want to see that, there's probably a VOD on his stream. Cute Dog is obviously one of the biggest streamers out there for Path of Exile. So there's definitely a VOD going to be available. I don't think he'll make a video or anything like that about it. But it was divining madness. Like he literally bought a mirror worth of divines. It was super entertaining to watch, and I was like sitting on the edge of my seat, and I was just waiting for him to divine it to perfect. And every time he'd like have to go buy another 10, 20 exalt worth of divine, I was like, oh no, poor guy. I really thought it would be that hard. And he was like, well, wait, this is a lot more expensive than I thought it would be. But in the end, he hit it, so he got his free copy. I did the math on the amount of currency he used, and it seemed to be about just what it would have cost him if he would have mirrored it from me and gave me the 40x fee. So, in my opinion, it is a win-win because I get a perfect foil back, and he gets a copy of the best foil right now in Incursion when it comes to +3 range foil. If you guys are wondering, by the way, it's been mirrored 5 times so far, and I finished it this morning, so it's definitely a pretty good foil. Anyways, I know this is more like a it's a video more like the ones I made in Incursion about the quiver I crafted and whatnot, where I'm kind of really hyped and I talk about the story of an item I created. I don't do it to like brag or like self promote, even if it's kind of self promotion. That's not the goal though. I'm just really happy with my craft and I want to share it with you guys. Um, and be on the lookout for the crafting video that I promised would be coming soon because it is coming soon. I did record it, but it was 46 minutes long, and I rambled a little bit too much, and I got away from basically the subject at hand a little bit too much. Not that much, but it wasn't consistent enough. So I'll be re-recording that probably tomorrow on my lunch break or whatever, and then uploading it within the next few days. So be on the lookout for that. It's not like I forgot about it. It's not like I decided not to do it. It's definitely coming. So that's the story behind Gale Stinger, the number one P DPS. Hits cannot be evaded. +3 range. Foil in Legion. I am super happy with the craft. Honestly, I couldn't be happier. That being said, I'll let you guys on a little bit of a secret. I am on a project that could actually beat this. That being said, it's probably not going to happen by the end of the league unless I literally spent probably 5 to 10 mirrors into it. And I don't have that currency to just burn, sadly. So this is probably going to be the best foil for the duration of this league. But who knows? You know, somebody else might just literally essence craft a much better one by just putting one essence on it. Because everything's RNG in Path of Exile. So that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a little something. That's going to be Matthew signing out. Until the next one. Peace.